Oh, dear. Hold on, I'm trying to do this here. I'm planning on streaming today, but the patch already went live. Nope. Got to fix my camera. There, fix my camera. Oh boy. Hold on a second, beeps. Okay, now we're up and running. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the Trader's Curse is up. The full 2 weeks early, I might add. Patch 15. All right. Here's what we're getting. We're getting the new mission. We're getting the first of the new missions. The Mercantile HL 7004. Wormwood reports indicate that the Mobian 6th have set up a base of operations in the Carnival. What's more, they are using some of the more disreputable areas of the Mercantile to produce stims and distribute them out to the rest of the hives. Get in there and recover samples we can analyze for traces of blight. Dev note, this mission will be available on the mission board 1 to 2 hours after the patch release. So it may not be, I don't know how long the patch has actually been live. I know it just updated on mine, so maybe we won't get it for another hour or two. The veteran tree that we thought new stuff was coming. Enjoy the many changes and tweaks made to the veteran tree, including the addition of keystones. Due to these changes, adventurers will see their talent trees reset, and players will have to reassign talent points. Yippee skippy. And I did not screenshot any of my builds. Okay. Marksman's Focus. Weak spots kills grant you stacks of focus, making you lose stacks of focus. Focus in turn increases your reload speed and range finesse power. For a few seconds after your weak spot kills, your focus stacks will stay regardless of if you're moving around or not. Improvements to Marksman Focus can provide rending, toughness replenishment, increased max stacks, and easier focus stacks management. Keystone number 2. Focus target. Your tags on enemies now increase the damage taken of the target based on how long you've waited in between each tags. Improvements to focus target include increasing the maximum strength of your tag, along with bonuses such as toughness, stamina, and damage to allies once you kill the tagged enemy. Weapons Specialist. When killing enemies with melee weapons, you power up your next ranged attacks and granting increases in critical strike chance and rate of fire. When killing enemies with ranged weapons, you power up your next melee attack, granting increases in attack speed and improvements in dodging. So they're trying to push you to flip back and forth more. These bonuses are granted when you swap to the other weapon. Improvements to weapon specialists include improved stamina management to your melee weapons, ammo management to your ranged weapons, and a toughness boost. You can now inspect other players' loadouts while in the hub and in mission lobbies. When using this feature on the Morningstar, you'll be able to view their chosen layout, cosmetics, and talent trees. While in mission lobbies, you can switch between viewing a player's weapons, loadout, and talents by pressing tab. They've done some fixes to the penances. After the release of patch 13, several penances could no longer be unlocked. We apologize for the issue. In this update, we reworked the systems handling the unlocks of penances and made sure that all of them could be obtained. The fixes include, but are not limited to, the following penances. Power Up. Alias Monstratum. Resupply allies. Bring the hurt. Just a flesh wound. I'm in charge. Mark for death. Stay strong. Master your tools. Make every shot count. Going out with a bang. in which they fixed an issue that causes the Psyker penance being able to be completed with a plasma gun overload explosion. Friends will be friends, and there's nothing but the abyss. And they lowered the regained health requirements from 75 health to 25%, since that is the new max from the Holy Revenant talent. We also removed standby for action and rapid response from the list of the penances in the game, because these penances were based on the ideation of a mode that's no longer going to be added to the game. We have added a setting that groups the buff icons in the HUD based on their source. The groups are currently generic. Buffs gained from the conditions in games are gained from other players. Talent, buffs gained from your own talent. And blessings, buffs gained from your current weapon blessing. This setting is turned on by default, but it can be turned off to enable the previous behavior. We hope that this will make it easier to see if a talent or blessing is active. I mean, I know I had no problem with it. I never paid attention to what was active or not. I was too busy fighting. Alright. Bug fixes and tweaks for talents. The Ogren fixed an issue where light 'em up talent would trigger multiple times on the same shot on the same enemy. Wait. Isn't that the whole point? To set what you're shooting at on fire? That's not a fix. That's a nerf. Oh, it's triggering multiple times on the same shot. Okay, never mind. They fixed it. That's an actual fix. Never mind. Fixed issue with furious triggering on all melee attacks and not just heavy. Okay. Psyker, assail. They increased the base cooldown from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. Yes, they nerfed assail just a wee bit, because supposedly people were able to just sit there and spam it without having to switch back and forth. That was never an issue for me because I put out so many frickin' kind shards, especially in mobs, that I used them all. And had to switch. Especially in higher levels. So in my own opinion, this nerf was not needed. But, whatever. Assail, dev note, assail has been very powerful and has acted like a third weapon in many cases. We're increasing the time it takes for them to recharge to incentivize switching back to your primary or secondary weapons after using it, instead of wholly relying on them in most combat situations. And again, I would say to you, the only time I never have to worry about it is in, say, Heresy and below. And even in Heresy, I'd have to switch. Because again, when you're dealing with a massive mob, one of the, especially and it's really when you're playing the high intensity missions and the shock troop gauntlets, you're going to have to switch. Because especially the shock troop and high intensity, because you get waves of things like crushers that assail does not penetrate the armor of. So again, nerfing it was unnecessary, in my own opinion. Alright. They fixed a bug where Striker's Warp Rider talent gave more damage on low peril than intended. Used to give 10% damage at 0 peril instead of the intended 0 damage at 0% peril. Fixed issue where Brain Rupture had an inconsistent cast time when under the effects of kinetic resonance. Fixed issue where peril generated through kinetic deflection didn't synergize with warp expenditure. Fixed an issue where specific types of enemies failed to be correctly highlighted by the Disrupt Destiny talent. The issue was only visual. I never noticed it really, but whatever. For the veteran, they fixed an issue where tactical awareness did not trigger consistently when wielding a chain weapon. Fixed an issue where veteran talent Grenade Tinker also made the player stun immune. That's half the fucking fun. Fixed an issue where enhanced target priority did not have an effect for all players. Fixed an issue where Onslaught applied more stacks of brittleness than intended. So it was bugged a little bit and was giving an unintended buff. Okay. Lowered the bonus toughness of Duty and Honor from 100 to 50. Dev note, it became too strong with the combined toughness increase and cooldown reduction of the previous patch. The Zealot changed so the Chorus of Spiritual Fortitude ability staggers bosses the first and then every other pulse instead of first and last. It's not really a nerf. It's kind of a buff. Fixed an issue with Zealot talent Disdain where buff icon was not showing correctly. Fixed issue where 2 toughness boost operative modifiers didn't stack properly. Changed max stacks for the talent Martyrdom down to 7 down from 9 to correctly reflect the max number of wounds you can get. Which is fine because it was, I recall reading somewhere that was basically all you could get in even Damnation anyway. Fixed an issue with the Restoring Faith buff icon showing up at times when it wasn't active. Fixed issue where Pious Cutthroat didn't trigger properly. Fixed an issue where Fortitude and Fellowship didn't work properly. Fixed issue where Course of Spiritual Fortitude could get stuck. In other words, it was wielding with no effect. Weapons and Blessings. Fixed an issue where the Nominous Surge staff received the smite bonuses from Empowered Psionics. It's essentially the same power. Why shouldn't it receive the same fucking bonuses? Because it's essentially the same power. You're just having to use the staff to do it. I get it. People are probably complaining it's OP. But complaining it's OP when it's essentially the same fucking power is stupid. When you're running both Smite and Surge Staff. Makes no goddamn sense to complain about that. That one should have been left alone. Fixed an issue causing the aiming trajectory for the underhand grenade throws to jump upwards when throwing a grenade. I don't know. Fixed the bug where the shotgun's weapon special reload wasn't affected by any of the reload speed talents and other buffs. They fixed the detailed stats breakdown on the Quark Marks 4 cleaver. Fixed an issue with attached projectiles like the crack grenade, which now is a guaranteed to hit the enemy it is attached to. Previously, there were some edge cases if the body part it was attached to was clipping in geometry due to animation that caused the explosion to not hit. Fixed an issue causing weapons temperature effects to not persist after wielding another weapon. And fixed stub revolvers showing melee critical chance instead of range critical chance in the detailed stat as inspect view. The stat for critical hits has always been applied to the ranged attacks of the weapon only, and this has been a visual issue in the inspect view. Yeah. Fixed issue where thrust power increase was removed when using Chastise the Wicked mid-swing. Fixed the bug where the KD Mark IV Assault Chainsword didn't have the correct damage icons and stats pages, and updated Light 4 attack to use strike down damage profile. Increase the chain time from wheel to shoot to prevent macro abuse from on the Akachan MG Mark II heavy las pistol. The Hellbore las gun's bayonet, they tweaked the attack speed scaling. The Achilles twin-linked heavy stubber, they decreased time to fire first shot from 0.2 seconds to 0 seconds. Increased the speed of heavy attack 2 on Brute Brainer Mark III routine shovel by 20%. Fixed an issue for the Skull Crusher and Thunderstrike blessings to show the correct value of 10% instead of 5. Fixed issues where melee attacks had gone wrong attack strength, and then set giving them incorrect audio and sometimes not working correctly with buffs talents on the Arrestes. Mark IV Assault Chain Axe, the Tigress Mark II Heavy Eviscerator, the Obscurus Mark II Blaze Sword, combat axes, and tactical axes. On the Brute Brainer Latrine Shovel for the Ogren, they adjusted Relentless and Strike Down armor mods on heavy attacks to make the Strike Down deal more damage to unyielding targets as intended. Relentless versus Unyielding has gone from 3 to 2. Strike Down versus Unyielding has gone from 1 to 1.5. The Grenade Gauntlet. They removed the finesse multiplier that caused very high headshot damage, especially on heavy attacks. Reduced light and heavy attacks slightly. They removed high armor mod for light strike down versus carapace armor to keep it more in line with the relentless attacks, but keeping the high 0.75 armor mod versus carapace armor on the heavy strike down attacks. Dev note: the Gauntlet melee was never intended to replace or be better than your actual melee weapon, but a thing to smack around a few enemies if the situation called for it. So people were overusing it. The Mark V Kickback fixed an issue where it was possible to shoot without consuming ammo if immediately swap canceling after firing it. Serona Mark II Quick Stub Revolver, my personal favorite. They added missing chain to melee weapon special from reload action. Added missing chain actions to reload and weapon special actions during the wield action. There's a whole bunch of other shit, cosmetics, the HUD, the video effects, the sound effects, and the animation. They fixed voiceovers. They added 50 new conversations. Mission givers will now nag less during data interrogator events. They reduced probability on the most common bonding conversations. And they reduced the frequency of assail shards equip voiceover. Oh, they upgraded the NVIDIA SL SDK 2.2 and added Intel XeSS options in the settings and hardware detection. Okay, so that is your update. We already got the new map. We got a bunch of fixes. And let's jump in and see if I got the map open already. I'm going to need to fix all my freaking builds anyway for the veteran. Am I really going to use the new Keystones? Highly debatable. Anyway, that has been your update for the update that I will post later on YouTube. It's been a gaming update with your bearded wolf god Lobo. Thank you for watching.